I'm 37 years old, married for 12 years, 4 kids. Until recently, I thought my life was loud, messy, exhausting in a normal way. Soccer practices, unpaid bills stuck to the fridge, half drunk coffees everywhere. My wife, Anna, had been sick for a while, but we told ourselves it was manageable. Treatments, appointments, optimism we pretended wasn't forced. I worked full time. She stayed home more after her diagnosis. I tried to be the strong one. I told people we were okay. I told myself the same thing. At night, when the house finally went quiet, I would lie next to her and listen to her breathing, counting it like it was something I could control. I loved her. I still do. And that's part of what makes this so hard to write. Nothing felt suspicious then. No big fights. No dramatic distance. Just stress, fear, and the constant hum of responsibility. We were a team, or at least that's what I believed. I didn't know that my marriage was already haunted by something I couldn't see. I didn't know there was a truth sitting quietly, waiting for me to stumble into it. If I had known, I don't think I would have opened that drawer. But life doesn't warn you before it rearranges everything you think you know. Anne and I met in our 20s. She was sharp, funny, the kind of woman who made you feel seen. We moved fast. Too fast, some people said. Marriage, kids, house. 4 children in 10 years. Chaos. But it was ours. She handled the emotional core of the family. I handled logistics. We balanced each other. Or so I thought. Looking back, there were small things I ignored. She guarded her phone more. Took longer walks alone. Sometimes seemed distant, but I blamed the illness. Everyone did. Cancer gives people a free pass to be withdrawn. I never questioned it. I trusted her completely. That's the truth. Blind trust. The kind you don't even realize is fragile until it shatters. Our kids adored her. She was their anchor. I kept telling myself that whatever we were facing, we'd face it together. That love was enough to survive sickness. I didn't know that while I was fighting to hold our family together, there was another man quietly woven into her life. I didn't know my role had already started shrinking. Trust doesn't disappear loudly. It erodes silently while you're busy surviving. When Anna got worse, everything narrowed. Hospitals, forms, fear. I became a caretaker without realizing when the shift happened. I slept in chairs, learned medical terms I never wanted to know. She changed during this time, softer in some ways, harder in others. Sometimes she looked at me with an expression I couldn't read, like guilt or maybe resignation. I thought she was afraid of dying. She asked me once, out of nowhere, if I'd be okay, no matter what happens. I laughed it off, told her not to talk like that. She cried. I held her and felt like a monster for not understanding. I wish I had asked more questions. I wish I had pushed instead of comforting. But when someone is sick, you don't interrogate them. You protect them. You excuse things. You tell yourself love means patience. I was wrong. I found the will by accident. That's the cruelest part. I wasn't snooping. I was looking for insurance documents before an appointment. It was in a drawer I rarely opened. A clean envelope. My name wasn't on it. I remember my hands shaking before I even knew why. Something in my body recognized danger before my brain did. I opened it, read the first page, then the second. Then I sat on the floor because my legs stopped working. She had left everything, her savings, her property share, even personal items, to a man I didn't recognize. Not me, not our children, just a name. I reread it over and over, convinced I was misunderstanding something. Maybe it was outdated, maybe a mistake, but there was a date. Recent. Signed. That's when my world actually collapsed. Quietly. Completely. I stared at the name like it might explain itself if I waited long enough. It didn't. I Googled him. I hated myself for how fast I did it. Found a LinkedIn. Same city. Similar age. My chest felt tight. My thoughts were incoherent. I felt stupid for not knowing. Angry for caring. I put the papers back exactly where they were. I didn't confront her immediately. I couldn't. I needed air. I needed to believe there was another explanation. For the rest of the day, I watched her like a stranger. Every smile felt staged. Every touch felt borrowed. That night, I didn't sleep. I listened to her breathing and wondered who she was thinking about when she closed her eyes. The next morning felt unreal, like I was acting in someone else's life. I made coffee, packed lunches, kissed the kids on their heads. My hands were steady, but inside I was vibrating. Anna sat at the table, pale, wrapped in a sweater that used to be mine. I watched her fingers tremble slightly around her mug. I wondered how long she'd been carrying this secret while sitting across from me like this. I didn't yell, I didn't accuse. I asked softly, "Is there anything you need to tell me?" She didn't even look up. About what? That hurt more than I expected. The casualness, the practiced innocence. I tried again. Anything at all. About us. She sighed, clearly irritated. "I don't have the energy for this. You know how sick I am." And that line, "I'm sick," had always been the end of every conversation. I had let it be. I had let it silence me. My heart was pounding so hard I thought she could hear it. "I found the will," I said. Her mug froze halfway to her lips. For a second, she didn't move, didn't blink. Then her face changed completely, like a mask slipping. The color drained from her skin. Her eyes filled instantly. Not slowly, not confused. Instantly. That's when I knew. No explanation could save this moment. "I can explain," she whispered. I laughed. A short, broken sound that scared even me. "You left everything to another man," I said. "Start there." She started crying then. Not quietly, not neatly. Deep, shaking sobs that made her fold in on herself. I stood there, numb, watching my wife fall apart, and realizing I didn't know her at all. We talked for hours, or maybe minutes. Time didn't work normally anymore. "He's someone I loved," she finally said. Loved. Not knew. Not made a mistake with. Loved. I felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. "Loved," I repeated, as in past tense. She didn't answer right away. That silence was my answer. She told me they met years ago, through work. It started as emotional support, she said. Talking. Venting. Feeling understood. I asked if she ever planned to stop. She said she tried. I asked if she slept with him. She nodded, barely. I remember standing up so fast my chair fell over. I remember shouting things I can't repeat here. I remember asking her how she could do this while I was home with our kids, while I was working myself into the ground, while I was sitting in hospital rooms, praying she wouldn't die. She said she never stopped loving me. That sentence almost broke me more than the affair itself. "You loved me," I said, "and still chose him." She said he made her feel alive, that with me she felt like a patient, a responsibility, a mother. With him, she felt like a woman. I didn't know how to respond to that. There is no defense against being replaced in someone's heart. That night, I didn't sleep in our bed. I couldn't. The sheets felt contaminated, like they held memories that weren't mine. I lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of our marriage, trying to pinpoint where I stopped being enough. My phone buzzed constantly, texts from her apologizing, begging, explaining. I didn't respond. The kids noticed immediately. They always sense emotional earthquakes before adults admit they're happening. "Why are you sleeping out here?" my oldest asked. I lied. I said my back hurt. Anna walked around the house like a ghost, crying, avoiding eye contact, then suddenly clinging to me like I was about to disappear. I felt hollow, not angry all the time, just empty, like something essential had been removed. I kept thinking, this is the woman I trusted with my life. Eventually, I asked the question I was terrified of. "Does he know about the will?" She hesitated, just for a second. "Yes." That single word did more damage than all the others combined. This wasn't a private fantasy. This wasn't emotional confusion. This was a future she had actively planned, one where I was a footnote. I imagined him reading that document, seeing his name where mine should have been, knowing he mattered more than the man raising her children. I asked if she still talked to him. She said yes. I asked if she loved him. She cried again. That was also an answer. The guilt about the kids eats me alive. They don't know the truth, but they feel it. The tension, the sudden silences, the way I flinch when their mother touches me. I look at them and feel like I've failed them by choosing wrong, by not seeing this sooner, by bringing them into something fragile and pretending it was solid. I stay for them. I think about leaving for them. Either way, I'm scared I'll break them. Some nights I sit in their rooms long after they're asleep, listening to them breathe, wondering how something so innocent can come from something so broken. I still love her, and that truth feels almost obscene to admit after everything. I love the woman I married. I love the way she laughs at dumb TV shows, the way she knows exactly how each kid likes their eggs, the way she used to reach for my hand in her sleep. None of that disappeared just because she betrayed me, and that's what makes this unbearable. At the same time, resentment sits in my chest like a second heart. It beats louder some days. I resent her for choosing someone else while I was choosing her every single day. I resent her for risking our family, for planning a future where I was erased, for making me feel like an accessory in my own life. What scares me is how these feelings exist together. Love doesn't soften the anger. Anger doesn't kill the love. They just grind against each other, constantly. I feel guilty for being furious with a sick woman. Everyone around me treats her like glass now. Doctors, family, friends. And I'm the one holding all this rage, swallowing it so I don't look like a monster. Sometimes I imagine screaming everything I feel at her. Sometimes I imagine packing a bag and disappearing. Then I imagine her dying without me there. And the guilt crushes me. I don't know which version of me is the real one anymore. The loyal husband, the betrayed man, or the coward frozen between the two. People keep asking what I'm going to do, as if this is a problem with a correct answer. Friends say things like, "You deserve better," or "She's sick, you can't leave now," depending on which side they land on. Everyone has an opinion. No one has to live inside my head. There is no clean ending available to me. If I leave, I'm the man who abandoned his wife when she was ill. That's the story people will tell, no matter the truth. My kids might understand one day, or they might never forgive me. If I stay, I'm the man who swallowed betrayal and taught himself to live smaller. I wake up next to someone who chose another man when she thought the end was near. She says the affair is over. She says she chose me. But the will still exists, the paper doesn't lie. It's proof that when she imagined the end of her life, I wasn't who she trusted with it. Every option cost me something vital: dignity, peace, love, self-respect. I feel trapped in a story that refuses to move forward. I barely recognize myself. I used to trust my instincts. I used to believe that if something felt solid, it was. Now I replay entire years in my head, dissecting conversations, expressions, moments I brushed off as stress or exhaustion. I question everything. Was she distant that night because she was tired, or because she had just talked to him? Was that smile meant for me, or was I just standing in the way? I hate that I check her phone. I hate that I even think about it. I've become someone I never wanted to be. Suspicious, paranoid, desperate for certainty that no longer exists. I'm quieter now. I don't joke as much. I feel older than my age. Like something essential in me aged decades overnight. Worst of all, I don't trust my own judgment. If I could be so wrong about the person I loved most, how can I be confident about anything else? Some days feel almost normal. We sit together, we talk about the kids, we watch shows. We exist in the same space like a couple who survived something terrible and chose to move on. Other days I look at her, and all I see is the envelope, the name that wasn't mine, the future she prepared for herself without me. The house feels different now, heavier, like it remembers everything, even when we try to pretend. Intimacy is strange. Sometimes I crave closeness desperately, just to feel connected to something familiar. Other times, the thought of her touch makes my stomach turn. Time hasn't healed anything. It's just taught me how to function while carrying pain, like learning to walk with a limp and pretending it's normal. I don't know if this is survival or slow emotional erosion. I don't know exactly why I'm posting this. Maybe I need witnesses. Maybe I need to say the truth somewhere. It won't be interrupted or softened. Maybe I just need to admit that I'm not okay. What I've learned is that betrayal doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it hides behind routine, behind illness, behind the comfort of assumed loyalty. Sometimes the person you trust most is quietly planning a life where you don't exist. If there's any lesson here, it's this. Don't ignore the small doubts just because loving someone feels easier than questioning them. Don't assume love makes you immune to being replaced. I don't know how my story ends. I'm still inside it. All I know is that I'll never be the man I was before I opened that drawer. And I'm not sure yet who I'm becoming instead.